Welcome everybody to the Ango Show live. It is Monday, September 4th. I almost said August. It is September 4th, 2023. Hopefully you guys are all having a great night. Hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight's episode of WWE Raw. As you can tell by the title of tonight's stream, Gunther has made history. It's official. Like, he's done it. He's defeated Chad Gable. And what a freaking match, dude. We're going to talk about WWE Raw tonight. This is going to be relaxed. We're just chilling. We're just talking. We're just having a good time. A little bit less structure. A little bit more fun. Shout out to Chris Aldridge coming through on the stream for a very first time. Appreciate that. Shout out to Todd Crow as well. I see some VIP members in here. Justin Kennington, a member for 12 months. Shout out to you, Justin. He says, do you think CM Punk will join WWE? And is JD officially joining the Judgment Day? We're definitely going to talk about it. Kyle Mulkey says, Jey Uso joining Judgment Day. It's a possibility, my friend. Tonight we saw some recruiting efforts made by Dominic Mysterio. Another element of fun. It is very obvious if you watch WWE Raw tonight. It was a very solid episode if you are story heavy. If you're like me, I love storytelling. I love little Easter eggs. And WWE did it. There's quite a few of them. So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about Jey Uso and the Judgment Day. We're going to talk a little bit about Gunther making history. We're going to talk about Drew Gulak. We're going to talk a little bit about Drew McIntyre. I mean, there's a lot of things that WWE's cooking right now. Justin Kennington just gifted one membership. Wow. Ranma1013 is a new member. Thank you, Justin, for gifting a membership. I appreciate that, my friend. If you guys want to gift memberships, if you guys want to sign up for a membership, definitely feel free to do so. What I'll start doing is gifting memberships on pay-per-view streams, by the way. So get ready for that because that's going to be really cool. When the time comes, we'll probably do it for WWE Fastlane. But yeah, very, very fun night. Sam Piboon dropping a super chat for $4.99. Will Cody Rhodes go to SmackDown to trade for Jey Uso? This is actually a great way to start the stream because we did get a backstage segment with Adam Pearce and Jey Uso. And basically, for those who watched Raw tonight, the overall consensus is that Sami Zayn is one of the only people in the locker room who is willing to accept Jey Uso backstage. I absolutely love that. Jey Uso is naturally going to be a babyface here. It's very evident by the crowd reactions. It's very evident with how the storylines and everything have played out between him and the Bloodline. But WWE is not insulting your intelligence, right? We saw Jey Uso being part of the Bloodline, and they ruined a lot of people's lives in the WWE. So the cool thing is they're adding that element of like, hey, you're going to be backstage and you're going to have issues with people. People aren't going to like you. And I absolutely love that Sami Zayn, out of all people, is the one who's willing to accept him. Now, keep in mind, Kevin Owens wasn't on WWE Raw tonight, so I think there's going to be a little bit of an element to the story with that. But also, really funny enough, Jey Uso has that conversation with Adam Pearce, and Adam Pearce does confirm that somebody will be moving to SmackDown as part of a trade. They haven't revealed who it's going to be. Sam's super chat is asking whether or not it would be Cody Rhodes. I think that's a very strong possibility. I think if you're the WWE and you move Cody Rhodes to SmackDown, that's not a bad idea. I think that's, I think everything that happened with Jey moving to Raw and eventually plants the seed for Cody versus Roman at WrestleMania 40. I think there's a lot of potential there. I think there's a lot of great that could come from that. So I don't know if it's going to be Cody Rhodes because we do know that Cody Rhodes was confirmed for Raw next week. But I can see this being a situation where maybe it's somebody a little bit more unexpected. So I'm not saying that Cody Rhodes for sure will get traded. I could definitely see how it makes a lot of sense. I don't know. That's part of the story, right? That's part of the story. That's part of the, not just the story, but that's also part of like, you got to wait and watch and find out. And I like that. I like that element to it. Shout out to Sam Piboon for the $4.99 super chat. We got another super chat from Darth Bane for $1.99. He says, anyone catch Cole mentioning Cody used to be an EVP? So if you guys don't know, Jey Uso made his debut tonight on Raw. Well, not his debut, but he made his it's his singles run, right? You know, he got traded to WWE Raw. Very cool element of that. You know, the crowd shots of the crowd, everybody's going hype for it. One of the opening lines was Michael Cole talking about how Cody Rhodes could pull strings because he used to be an EVP. He knows a thing or two about it, right? He knows how to make these moves. I liked it. Darth Bane, I liked it. I like that element, again, of WWE acknowledging things that are real. It's true. Cody Rhodes used to be an EVP, and the old WWE would have never done that. And I like the fact that WWE is acknowledging things, even if it didn't take place in their company. I think Michael Cole and Wade Barrett are tremendous commentators. I really do. I think they add a lot to the product. Me personally, I'm with it, man. I think it's cool. I support it fully. I loved it. I don't know what your guys' reaction was to it, but you guys could let me know. We got a couple things cooking in the chat. Thank you, Darth Bane, for the super chat. Billy That Kid 22 becoming a level 1 member on the channel. Appreciate you, Billy That Kid. I remember you from our other streams, so I'm glad to see you back. I appreciate it. Big MGM dropping a $1.99 super chat. Could be Miz. He is still feuding with LA Knight. And I think that would be very fair, right? I think it's, Miz is a notable name. I think Miz getting drafted or traded to SmackDown, I mean, it feels like a fair trade. He does have the feud going on with LA Knight. He did do some stuff tonight with Invisible Super John Cena. So that was interesting. I think they're going to carry that feud. John Cena's working SmackDown. Maybe we get the Miz, John Cena, LA Knight. Maybe they do some stuff cooking there. I mean, it's going to be a really interesting thing. Personally speaking, I don't think LA Knight and the Miz need to have another match. I don't know if they need to go that direction, but I'm willing to wait and see, I guess. But I don't know. I feel like it's a tough situation because I don't like the whole wait and see type of thing sometimes. Like the idea of being patient is good for me. Like, it's not a big deal. But with the Miz and LA Knight, it didn't seem like it was supposed to be a big time feud. To me, it just kind of seemed like a one-off thing, if that makes sense. So yeah, we'll see. Shout out to Big MGM for the $1.99 super chat. Appreciate you, my friend. Cameron Johnson has extended his membership for 8 months, level 1. Epic IC title match. Got to run it back at Fastlane. 1,000,000%. I love the fact that WWE went the clean route with this. The reality is that Chad Gable is a stud. That's just the reality. We all know how good Gunther is, but when you add him and Chad Gable together, they are really, really good. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. Shout out to Cameron Johnson, level 1 membership for 8 months. Appreciate you, my boy. Justin Kennington dropping another gifted sub, this time to Denisha Lane. Shout out to Justin. That's 2 gifted subs today. 2 gifted memberships from Justin Kennington tonight. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you so much. A lot of great things in the chat, guys, so keep it coming. Keep it coming. Can't wait to see what you guys are thinking. When you drop a super chat, it's automatically guaranteed that your comment or question or whatever is read on the stream. You guys definitely don't have to do super chats if you don't want to. But if you guys want to ask me anything or you guys want to share an opinion on the show, that is a guaranteed way to do it. But make sure you guys are still using the chat because when the time is right, I'll be pulling some questions and stuff as well. Billy That Kid dropping another super chat for $1.99. Could Drew become heel? Great. I love this. Yes, I think this is where it's headed. I think WWE is definitely headed towards this direction where Drew McIntyre is going to be a heel. And they're doing it in a slow burn. And I loved it. Really started off with the Jey Uso thing. When WWE Raw opened up tonight, Jey Uso, walking back up the ramp, Drew McIntyre's music hits. And the first thing that he does is he goes and looks at Jey Uso in disgust. Now, you got to remember, guys, the bloodline is the reason why Drew McIntyre isn't WWE Universal Champion, right? So I love it. It's a very cool slow burn. They did some cool stuff last week. And then the best part is, after this, Matt Riddle makes his entrance. He does the same thing with Jey Uso. He ends up getting excited and being positive again. They walk down to the ring. We go to commercial break. It's next thing you know, we come back. It's the Viking Raiders versus Drew and Drew McIntyre and, of course, Matt Riddle. So me personally, I liked it. I like this opening sequence. I love the idea of Drew McIntyre being heel. The best part about this is that Kofi Kingston gets involved in this match. He ends up accidentally hitting Matt Riddle, which essentially cost Drew McIntyre the win. There's a huge dynamic between the New Day, Xavier Woods, Kofi, Matt Riddle, Drew McIntyre. There's a dynamic there that's intriguing to me. And I'm going to be honest. I don't know if you guys agree. I don't know if you guys disagree. You guys can let me know in the chat. But I would go as far as saying that Drew McIntyre might not be turning heel here. And that's why I love this super chat so much. Could Drew become a heel? I think it's possible. I feel like it's a slow burn. I feel like they're teasing it. But then there was something later on in the night where Drew McIntyre in the backstage segment, he's going to go after, when it comes to him and his relationship with Jey Uso, if Jey Uso screws him or anything like that, what is he going to do? He's going to go after the guy who's responsible for him. Now, if you guys watched my prediction show for SummerSlam with Darren McCarty, I talked about this. I talked about the idea of Cody and Drew McIntyre having a match. And I love that possibility. There's a history there. There's a very unique history there. People forget about this. So I like it. Me personally, I like it. I think there's a lot of cool stuff there. Drew McIntyre could be a really, really good heel in WWE. I'm all for it. But I'm just saying, don't be shocked if there's a swerve. Maybe they have the New Day turn heel. Maybe they have Matt Riddle turn heel. And we've all been asking for Matt Riddle to be serious. So when I see something like that, it does make me happy. It does. It makes me happy because, again, for those who watch my channel, for those who see my criticisms on anything that happened in wrestling, my number one thing that I look for in professional wrestling is what is the purpose of what is happening on TV. And the reality is, I care more about the purpose. I care more about the story. I care more about the Easter eggs. I care more about the drama than I do about the wrestling aspect. And the reason for that is because most of my time is consumed by watching wrestling. If I start a series on Netflix or Hulu and I'm 2 episodes in and I'm not enjoying it, I don't continue to finish the series. Fun little fact. This is actually a fun little fact, and it's going to actually probably make a lot of sense to you guys too. When Game of Thrones first came out, I was a late boomer. I didn't watch it originally at first. And then I remember I was watching Game of Thrones. I was finally getting involved. I was paying attention to all the little details, trying to figure things out, predict things, whatever. Got to the final season, absolutely loved it. Loved Game of Thrones. Then what's crazy is last year or whatever it was, they came out with the new version of Game of Thrones. It's like the prequel or sequel or whatever it was. And I remember when it came out, after the first episode, I was like, I don't want to finish it. So they didn't do enough for me to be invested. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but they just didn't do enough for me to be invested to watch the rest of the series. So with pro wrestling, while it is cool to have fun wrestling matches, what keeps me wanting to actually watch every week is storytelling. It's the purpose of why something is happening. Not saying that you guys have to feel the same way towards wrestling as I do, but if you're new here, maybe you don't understand how I view wrestling or how I judge wrestling, that's how I do it. So as you can imagine, I'm very intrigued by the Drew McIntyre stuff because they're doing a lot, and I feel like they could swerve us. Shout out to Billy That Kid for the $1.99 super chat. Appreciate it. We got another super chat from Cameron Johnson for $2. He says Zoe versus Shayna could be a good match. There's a lot of potential with those two women. Personally speaking, too, I want to throw this out there. I really do enjoy watching Shayna Baszler. I really do enjoy watching Zoe Stark. I want to see what they do. There's a lot of stories to be told in this women's division. WWE didn't have much significance tonight when it came to women's wrestling, but they have some great stars. I want to see what they do. Shout out to Cameron Johnson for the $2 super chat. We got a new super chatter joining the ranks here. James Mead. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Mead. I'm sorry. Sometimes I butcher names. I try not to. But a $1.99 super chat. First time super chat on the Ango show. Everybody give James a round of applause. Show your love and gratitude for this young, incredible person. I like the idea of Cody Rhodes to SmackDown. James, I don't hate the idea of it. Right? We got to get Cody and Roman at WrestleMania. I'm cool with this. I think it works out very well. Cody and John Cena. I mean, John Cena's on SmackDown. You could do Cody and John Cena in the meantime. There's a lot that they can do. There's a lot they can do with it. And James, one thing I do want to point out, Cody is a far much more valuable name than Jey Uso. To me, Cody Rhodes being a straight up swap for Jey Uso isn't necessarily a fair trade. But I think they could do a lot of stuff there. And for all intents and purposes, I really wouldn't care if it's Cody. Like, I wouldn't be mad about it. I personally think it would be cool to see Cody on SmackDown. But then I do look at Cody being the number one guy on Raw. And then I begin to wonder a little bit, who's that guy that steps up? And I don't know who that guy would be. So it's a very, very crazy, chaotic situation. I think Cody going to SmackDown is fine. But what are they going to do as far as that number one top guy on Raw? So we'll obviously find out as time goes on. I'm assuming we'll find out within a week or two. Hopefully WWE doesn't prolong it. Hopefully this is something that they've actually thought out pretty well. But it's really hard to say. Shout out to James for the first time super chat. Appreciate it. Guys, remember, those super chats guarantee your questions being read on the stream. Keep the chats coming. If you guys got questions, let me know. Chester says, seeing Chad Gable his daughters cry was sad. Guys, that main event was incredible. That main event is incredible. And look, I mean, I'm gonna shoot straight here. So here's the thing. I put out a tweet. I said, WWE conditioned fans for so long that wrestling doesn't matter. But when Gunther and Chad Gable wrestle, the fans are incredibly in love, meaning they're in love with what they're seeing. They're bought in. They're invested, right? For me, stories will always come first. But wow, I am invested in these two. Absolutely incredible stuff here. Hashtag WWE Raw. I stand by this. I think WWE for the longest time has always pushed the narrative that they are sports entertainment. And at the end of the day, the first thing that comes first is storylines. And I prefer this method. I have been very clear about that. But sometimes WWE has some incredibly amazing matches. And if Triple H and WWE want people to be invested in the stories and the matches, you got to do more matches like this on TV. So I 1000% supported the idea of this not being just another match on Payback. There's people complaining about it. They should have been on the pay-per-view. I disagree. All night, WWE set these guys up for success. Video packages celebrating Intercontinental Champions. They made it a very, very big deal. It was a main event. It was lengthy. It felt like a big deal. And if you do more stuff like this, not only does it increase the value of your television product because it makes it feel more must-see, but you're not only gonna do that, but you're going to accomplish this new idea for wrestling fans of the WWE that not only are going to get great stories, but you're also going to get great wrestling matches from time to time. And I think that's a really good thing for WWE to do. Let's see. Oh, sorry. We just got a super chat from Rick Corrales for $5. Do you see the OC entering a feud with the Bloodline or dissension in the OC? I don't think there's going to be any dissension in the OC. And if I was WWE, I'm looking at the Bloodline and them falling. I look at WWE. Look, I'm gonna shoot straight for a second. Rick's super chat is asking me, do you see the OC entering a feud with the Bloodline or dissension in the OC? I don't want to see any dissension in the OC. I don't want to see anything changed, right? Other than them being presented as the top faction of SmackDown. Now, comparatively, if you watch AEW, the one thing that they're doing very well with is Bullet Club Gold. Austin Gunn, Colton Gunn, Jay White, and Juice Robinson are all doing very well. CM Punk is now out of AEW. There's plans for Jay White to be the leading man of Collision. The goal is for Bullet Club Gold to be a very big staple of that show. If that is the case, WWE can learn a lot from AEW because of the fact that the Bloodline is falling apart. The Bloodline storyline is kind of on a hiatus. Roman Reigns isn't on SmackDown. So I don't know if I see the OC entering a feud with the Bloodline, but if I was WWE, if I was Triple H, the number one thing I'm going to do is try to build the OC with all 4 members, right? Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, AJ Styles, Mia Yim. I would build them up on SmackDown. WWE has something very good right now on Raw with the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day is absolutely incredible. They're basically running the entire show of Monday Night Raw. The Bloodline is kind of on this hiatus, right? Let's create something very special with the OC. That's what I would do if I was WWE. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know what you guys think. But shout out to Rick for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you. Lot of things in WWE seem to be going right, and that was the biggest thing tonight with WWE Raw. It felt so storyline centric, but man, that main event tonight was so good. And you know, the tag team match, the Tornado tag team match to kick off the show was great. It seems like WWE, and we've kind of been saying this all year, but it seems like WWE is incredibly focused right now. I don't know what it is. It seems like they have well thought out plans. I mean, even when you look at JD McDonough. So tonight on Raw, we get this huge thing where JD McDonough has a match against Sami Zayn. Dominic Mysterio helps him. Another little Easter egg, another little seed planted, another little thing where WWE is building more intrigue in this evolution of JD McDonough and the Judgment Day. I love this so much. Honestly, so much. Dominic helps JD McDonough. He ends up winning. I love the potential of Judgment Day. I love the potential of what? Okay, sorry. I was just reading something in the chat that was weird. I feel like there's something that they can do with JD McDonough. I feel like there's something they can do with Judgment Day. But one of the things that I've been very, very interested in so far when I'm looking at this, right, is that they're not giving you everything all at once. You know what I'm saying? They're not giving it to you all at once. And I like that a lot. I like the fact that WWE is very much making you wait. I love the fact that they're making you, like, everything's a long burn, bro. Everything is. And I love that. Tonight, what's really cool about the JD McDonough situation, he ends up giving, by the way, Damian Priest a new Money in the Bank briefcase, right? So that comes before the match. He gives him a new Money in the Bank briefcase. He wants to be in the group. He wants to be accepted. Later on, he has the match. Dominic helps him out. After that, they're getting ready to leave the arena. Seems like they're starting to open their minds again, despite some rough little issues between them. It seems like they're all on the same page. Now they're starting to accept JD McDonough a little bit. He's not officially in the group. And then you get the Dominic Mysterio trying to recruit Jey Uso. It's like all of these things backstage intertwine within stories. I love that. I genuinely enjoy that. I think that's a very, very big W for WWE. I want to see WWE really commit to the Judgment Day. And I'm not sure if I want them, me personally, I'm not sure if I want them to break up the Judgment Day just yet. Me personally, that's how I see it. So I like it. I like the Judgment Day. I like that they're a big focal point of the group or of the show. I love that a lot of people are enjoying the Judgment Day because we all know that the Judgment Day started off and it was kind of rough. And Dominic Mysterio in that backstage segment, whether you like JD McDonough or Dominic or Damian, Finn, Rhea individually or all together as a group, I see Dominic Mysterio benefiting a lot from working with these guys. And you see that he's getting better. But the thing is, he goes to Jey Uso and he's like, I come from a broken family. I get it. I understand. I like that. I think that's cool. I think it's them acknowledging some old storylines. I like the fact that acknowledges what Judgment Day really is. We're all the leaders. You know, we don't have leaders. We're a family. Why is that relevant? Why is that relevant? Somebody, do you guys know the reason why it's relevant? I'll tell you. It's because the bloodline. It was always about being Roman's bitch. So I like that. I like that Dominic Mysterio had this moment backstage. I thought that was very clever. I thought it was really good. And now there's an offer on the table for Jey Uso to join the Judgment Day. I like that a lot. Now, do I think Jey Uso is going to join the Judgment Day? Hell no. I definitely don't think so. I mean, you never know, but I definitely don't think so. I think the goal is for Jey Uso to be one of the top baby faces. And I think they will. I definitely think they will. I think they're going to push Jey Uso as one of the top guys on Raw for a while. We'll see how they go about it. You know what I mean? We'll see how they go about it in terms of how they go about it, you know, in terms of story and stuff. But yeah, very interesting stuff. Justin Kennington dropping a $2 super chat. Do you think CM Punk is returning to the WWE? I do. I do. I think CM Punk returning to WWE is definitely going to happen. I think it's very likely. I think it's very possible. I think if you're the WWE and you bring in CM Punk, you got to be careful. I think it happens. I want to talk more about this in depth. I feel like I'd be spending 20, 30 minutes talking about this. But I think people forget that WWE is going to be owned by Endeavor, which changes things. I think Punk is not a good fit for AEW, and I don't think AEW is a good fit for CM Punk. So, I mean, really, I think CM Punk returning to WWE is just a good move for the wrestling industry. I think it would be nice to see him on TV still. I enjoyed a lot of his work in AEW. So we'll see. We'll see how they go about it if they do bring him in. Shout out to Justin for the $2 super chat. We got one for $1.99 from Billy That Kid. Who benefits from Raw? Who benefits going from Raw to SmackDown and vice versa? I mean, really, I think this is a great question. I think Jey Uso benefits the most. Jey Uso benefits a lot just by going to Raw because realistically, these guys are so good, but you give them the chance to be a singles guy. You give them a chance to be a singles guy on different shows. You let them do their own little side quest because that's really what it is. It's a side quest. Let these guys get that singles run. Maybe even go after mid-card titles. Try it. See what they do. I think Jey Uso not joining the Judgment Day makes him a target. I think there's a lot of cool things you can do with Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. And we kind of got a glimpse of that tonight, right? Jey Uso and Sami almost didn't shake hands. Then they dapped each other up and hugged each other and whatever. So there's elements to that on a weekly basis where I think Jey Uso is going to benefit, and he's going to benefit from a singles capacity. Does Cody Rhodes benefit going to SmackDown at this time? No, because I think to get to Roman, he could just win the Royal Rumble again. But when I look at other people on Raw, I mean, I'm looking at Matt Riddle. I could see Matt Riddle getting split up from Drew McIntyre and going to SmackDown. I don't know. It's hard to say. I feel like Raw right now is on one when it comes to storytelling, so I don't want to say, like, I don't want anybody really to leave Raw. That's the thing I don't like about this this trade. But, I mean, we'll see. I think it's a very interesting question. And shout out to you, Billy That Kid, 22, for the super chat. Appreciate it, guys. If you guys want your comments
red, guaranteed to be red on the screen. Please make sure you guys drop a super chat. It guarantees it. Lenny says, I want more Hurt Business. I do too, brother. I do too. I'm super excited about that. And I'm excited to see what that comes out to be. And we'll talk a little bit more about that on Friday nights with SmackDown. But should be interesting. Should be interesting. WWE's at a time period right now where everything is like there's a lot of factions. There's a lot of people benefiting from being on TV. There's a lot of people who are getting on-air screen time, and they're, even if they're not wrestling on the show, they're relevant to what the stories are, and I like that a lot. Obviously, that's where WWE can do better with the women's division. We did, by the way, find out that Piper Niven isn't cleared for action. So we'll see. Those women's tag team championship belts are absolutely freaking cursed, which is unfortunate. We'll see if they provide an update on it. I know I read something. I think Fightful Select is going to drop something, or they'll have some sort of update on it. Hopefully it's not the end of the women's tag team division, but it seriously is cursed at this point. I would prefer to see them do a mid-card title. But it's hard to say for sure, so we'll see. We did get a $5 super chat from an OG, Albert Pons, dropping $5 super chat. Great episode. Gunther, Gable slapped, but unless Raquel beats Rhea, I'm not happy. Chelsea was used to job to Raquel. What is happening with the titles? Yeah, it's tough, man. I don't ever mind Chelsea losing, by the way, just so you guys know. I don't mind that being the case. I don't mind. Chelsea is not supposed to be as dominant as Rhea Ripley. I'm not worried about that. I don't know. I think they really want Rhea Ripley to go into WrestleMania. I think they want her to go into WrestleMania as champion. And I genuinely don't know if that's something like we can expect. I don't know. I do kind of agree, though, with like you not being happy that Chelsea was jobbed. But again, I don't think it's like make or break. It falls in line very well with their character, which is a good thing. So shout out to you, Albert Ponce. Thank you for the super chat. We just got a $19.99 super chat from a real OG, Myra. Myra dropping a $20 super bomb. That's a super bomb. That's not even a super chat. That's a super bomb. An advanced super chat submission for that 20 to 30 minute CM Punk WWE dialogue. Yes, finally figured out the. Okay, look. All right, Myra wants it. Myra's paying for it. She's going to get it. So here's the thing, guys. The reality is that AEW and CM Punk are not a good fit. Okay? They're not. They're not a good fit for each other. AEW has, in my opinion, from what I'm seeing very publicly, what I'm seeing is that AEW has a very, very tight-knit family backstage. With the EVPs, it's all of these guys that came from the indies. They're all together. They're with Tony Khan. They've created All Elite Wrestling. CM Punk was the guy who had that indie experience, went to WWE. He joins AEW. But instead of being somebody who belongs within the group, to me, it always felt like CM Punk was an outsider. Then, the biggest thing is, when it comes to CM Punk and AEW, you start hearing stories of issues. Not just backstage fights, but just issues in general, being unpleasant. You get these types of things that are being brought up through reports, and the problem is everything that's being done has villainized CM Punk. Now, if you guys follow me, you know I don't pick sides in this type of stuff. The reason why I don't pick sides is because I'm not going to make a personal judgment on an individual that I don't have conversations with an individual that I'm not backstage seeing how things are being done. I can't tell you why CM Punk felt the way he did. I can't tell you why Tony Khan felt the way he did. I can't tell you why Jungle Boy felt the way that he did. But what I can tell you is that these reports were a very, very bad look for AEW, which is why it made a lot of sense that Tony Khan dropped CM Punk. Because at the end of the day, they have to get back to their core values. AEW in 2019 and 2020 is not the same company that they are in 2023. They may have made a lot of progress and stuff like that, but they've always had a very hardcore audience. And it feels like sometimes they've gotten away from what they were supposed to be. And it's not just with signing talent and stuff, but it's with booking decisions, business decisions, and whatnot. So the reality is CM Punk leaving AEW had to happen. Okay? That's the reality. There's a lot of issues. I don't care who's wrong. I don't care who's right. When I look at the optics of the situation, I think it's very fair that CM Punk should be gone. Now, with that being said, I want to make it very clear. This is a company that feels more like mom and pop. Okay? Mom and pop. This is how I'm trying to compare it, and it's going to make a lot of sense as I talk more about WWE. AEW is the mom and pop shop. WWE is the corporate master, monster, freaking, they're everything, right? Now, you could go get a job at a mom and pop shop, and you could work for a small business, and it could be a shitty job, and you could go work for a corporation and be incredibly happy with your job. The thing is, certain people don't fit certain circumstances. A lot of things in AEW, I'm not backstage, but if you're going off of reports, sometimes it just seems like things aren't structured. Sometimes it feels like people all can get away with whatever they want to do. Is that true? I don't know. I can't tell you. I can only go based off reports, right? What people are saying. But sometimes it seems like they're not as structured. People are able to get away with things. Also, I think sometimes some of these reports are based on things that are happening that are actually work. Like, it's like people are being worked. So that's an element too that you have to factor in. But when I look at AEW and CM Punk was a guy who should not be working for that mom and pop shop. It's the mom and pop shop that have all banded together to make him want to leave his job. That's what it looks like. That's the optics, right? Now, WWE in the past have had issues with CM Punk. And I think CM Punk is a very, 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 very good wrestler. But what makes a good wrestler? He's got to be good at storytelling. He's got to be great at promos. He's got to have a great presence. He's got to be pretty good in the ring. He's very good at all of these different things, right? CM Punk is a big deal. If you're WWE, you don't miss the opportunity for that. Okay? You don't miss the opportunity to do that. Whether they use him as part-time or not, WWE should be bringing in CM Punk. Yes, there's a lot of stuff about CM Punk from a backstage perspective. WWE have seen a lot worse and brought them back on television. So WWE has been very forgiving. The reality is, when I look at CM Punk in WWE, the reason why I think it's going to happen is not for any other reason than WWE is going to lose top stars. And I know that's going to bother some people. I know this is going to be the thing that tribalists are going to be super excited about. But the reality is this. I'm looking at WWE, and I'm looking at somebody like CM Punk joining the company, but I also think, okay, well, Edge could potentially be leaving. So when I see these types of things being brought up and discussed, yes, it is pretty apparent to me that realistically, CM Punk will probably go to WWE, and WWE is going to do it because they know that they cannot retain absolutely everybody. AEW is going to lose more talent. Get that in your head now. If you're one of those people who don't believe it, go and get it in your head. Put it in your head now. People will leave AEW. There's people, I'm sure, not everybody freaking likes their job in this world. There's nothing wrong with leaving your job in this world. Social media will accelerate this and it'll exaggerate a lot of things. But the reality is, not everybody's going to love their job. I worked a job for 10 years, thought I loved it. Towards the end, I realized they didn't give a fucking rat's ass about me. I stayed there for 10 years. Got another job after that. They were really cool, great company, a lot of good things to say about them. But I realized that's not what I want to do in my life. I knew that I want to be a full-time YouTuber, content creator, businessman, own my own business, make my own investments, do my own thing, be my own boss. And when I learned these things, it just, those types of environments, both of them were very, very different. But I just realized that my best environment is me doing what I want to do. That's where my happiness comes from. And I think WWE is a better fit for CM Punk because they are more structured. I think there's a lot less that CM Punk will be able to get away with backstage. Do people like each other everywhere in WWE, AEW, Impact, New Japan, whatever? I'm sure everybody's got a little bit of issues here and there, but when those issues are becoming the topic that people are talking about, those are becoming the headlines and not your product itself, then your product sucks. So that's the reality. We have gotten to the point where more people cared about the AEW drama than the actual company and the actual television show. They do great job with their pay-per-views. I don't think they do a good job of building their pay-per-views. Tony Khan's outspoken about this because he knows he delivers great pay-per-views. In essence, telling everybody essentially that their TV show sucks, but at least they deliver great pay-per-views. I think that's odd because I think there's too many talented people in that company that deserve better treatment in terms of storylines. And it's all like, the thing is, it's not like Tony Khan doesn't have the resources to do it because he's done it before. And we did get a couple more super chats, but it all ties into this. Albert Ponce dropped a $5 super chat. He says 100% AEW has gone away from its statement mission of being an alternative to WWE. I can deep dive all day on this. All day, AEW is not meant to be seen as WWE, and I think that's the reality. This is a company started by the Outcasts, the Outsiders, the challenging brand. That's what AEW is. So I feel like when I look at WWE and I look at AEW, I think they have all some wonderful people. I think WWE has that corporate structure that's important to run a business. I think AEW structure, there's nothing wrong with it, by the way. Just so you guys know, what I'm telling you about AEW structure, there's nothing wrong with it. What I'm saying is that AEW structure isn't for everybody. You're going to see people like Mercedes Moné. She left WWE. She didn't want to be involved in WWE anymore. She left. She wanted to be like Ango and do her own thing. That's just in comparison to what I was talking about for my own personal self. But if you go and look at her, she left WWE to do her own thing. She would belong in AEW because from like a personality standpoint, based on what we know, what we think, what we see, it looks like she would be a better fit. So ideally, CM Punk going to WWE is better for wrestling. And it's also better for wrestling when other people leave WWE and go to AEW. It's true. Whether we like to admit it or not, it's a good thing that people could leave WWE and go to AEW. We're talking from a business perspective, from a storytelling and creative standpoint, that's all different. But just keep that in mind. And we did get a super chat from Daniel Moser, first time super chatter on the channel, $4.99, but there is no message attached to it. So I do apologize, buddy. I don't have the ability to read your question or anything, but I do appreciate the super chat. But it does go back to Myra's original super chat. I mean, a lot of this is really about CM Punk and what he wants to do. Some people are making the argument that CM Punk has wanted to go to WWE for a while. I see some stuff on the internet about that. And it makes sense. I can understand why he would want to be there. Now with WWE being bought by Endeavor, a company that he's no stranger to, UFC, WWE ties, I mean, there's a lot that could come from it. Keep in mind, CM Punk, you could see him on UFC Fight Pass doing commentary. And I believe that is Cage Fury, which is like an MMA organization. He's doing commentary there. I could see some synergies there. I think CM Punk being in WWE is best for business. I think it's a good thing for WWE. I think it's a good thing for AEW. I think people are like shocked to hear this from me, but I think the toughest thing that Tony Khan could do is fire CM Punk. You're gonna have your tribalists tell you that's not the case, but the thing that people need to realize here is that CM Punk leaving AEW will solve a lot of problems for AEW because, again, more people were talking about the drama than their television show. And that's a problem. It's a problem. You got to make sure your show is that good where people care more to talk about the quality of your show than the backstage workings. Because at the end of the day, the backstage stuff is not stuff that we're supposed to know about. Wrestling is a very unique business where a lot of information is put out there. A lot of times it's inaccurate. A lot of times it is accurate. But wrestling fans, sometimes I feel like they don't really give a rat's ass about the TV shows that they're talking about. They care more about picking sides or trying to have an argument that they absolutely want to win. But it's so strange to me. I do think CM Punk shows up in WWE. I don't think it takes long for it to happen. We'll see what goes down. Thank you all for those super chats. We got another one from Daniel Moser for $9.99. Hey, Ango, I feel that Gunther should get the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 40, but who do you feel would be a good choice to take the IC title from him? Daniel, this is a fantastic question. Thank you for the $10 super chat. I appreciate it. If I could be completely honest with you, I think Chad Gable was the guy to beat Gunther. I do. I think Chad Gable's the guy. I would have no problem with them having run it back because Chad Gable won one match. Gunther just won one match. I would be totally cool with Gunther defending it at Fastlane and dropping the belt. I also want to propose another idea. You guys can let me know if you agree, disagree. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. Maybe it doesn't work for you, which is completely fine. But I would not mind the idea of Gunther going into WrestleMania, stealing a page out of Impact Wrestling. So in Impact Wrestling, if you win the X Division Championship, right, you have the ability to cash it in using Option C. And basically what you do is you vacate the belt for the chance to win the World Championship. The likelihood of this happening is probably not going to happen. But this is a very special circumstance where it does. So for those who are joining us, Daniel asked us, who do you feel would be a good choice to take the IC title from him? Again, Daniel, thank you for the $10 super chat. I appreciate it. I think at this point, I mean, look, you can make an argument, Chad Gable, right? Great matches. You can make an argument, Jey Uso winning a singles title, but I think they should do option C. It's a unique situation. You take a little note of Impact Wrestling, have Gunther go into WrestleMania season with him vacating the IC title with a guaranteed championship match against Seth Rollins. And I think some people might not like this idea, but I think if WWE were to do this, it truly cements Gunther as the greatest intercontinental championship of all time, which, by the way, I think he already is. And now that we know he's he's made history, that's fantastic. But I would love to see them go some route. Forget about Royal Rumble, forget about tournaments, forget about things like that. I wouldn't be opposed to the idea of him holding it till WrestleMania, right before WrestleMania, like a month before, or whatever, 2 months before. He'll vacate the belt with a guaranteed championship match. To me, there's something intriguing about that. But then the hurdle that you kind of run into in a situation like this is that we know we know that right now Damian Priest holds Money in the Bank, and it looks like they want Damian Priest to potentially be a champion. So between Seth, Shinsuke, Damian Priest, Gunther, there's a lot of options. But I think if you want Gunther to become the World Heavyweight Champion, that would be a really fun way to do it. That's just my opinion. You might not like it, but that's just my opinion. Thank you, Daniel, again for the $9.99 super chat. I appreciate you, my friend. A lot of great things in the chat. Keep them coming, guys. Miggy says something about Ciampa too. I mean, you could even throw Ciampa on that list. You could throw Ciampa on the list. You could throw Jey Uso on the list. I mean, there's a lot of guys that you could throw on that list to take the IC title. Me personally, I like that. I like that there's a lot of quality guys on this roster where you can do that. If you really want, you could also revisit Drew McIntyre. You could do some trades and stuff with SmackDown with Sheamus. You could bring in Ilya Dragunov to take him. You could have Braun Breaker. You can have Albert says JD McDonough. I mean, that's always a possibility too. Darth Bane dropping $1.99 super chat. Do you think Drew re-signs with WWE? I do. I think he already has. I don't know if it's been reported or not, but I feel like he's probably been under a deal or he's back with them or whatever. I think it's a possibility. I mean, that's just how I kind of see it. I think with Drew McIntyre, he belongs in WWE, man. He does. If he's not in WWE, then I would prefer to see him in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, the reason why is because I don't think AEW would book Drew McIntyre in a good way. I could be wrong, but I don't really have the confidence in him. But it would be cool to see Drew McIntyre do like a G1 climax or something. So that could be a really fun thing too. Shout out to Darth Bane for the $1.99 super chat. Appreciate it. Anthony Otterwald says, do you feel WWE brings in another mid-card title or no? I don't think so. At least not for the men. You never know. They obviously could at any point. They could, but I don't think so. We'll see. Brandon says, hindsight being 2020, should Gunther have won the Royal Rumble? Absolutely not. They did a great job of making him look strong, and look at him now. He's the greatest intercontinental champion of all time. So really good stuff there. Chad Gable, Gunther, give them their flowers, please. That's. I mean, they've crafted this story, this series of matches. I mean, it's so nice to watch the Intercontinental Championship be this valued, like it's so fun to watch, man. It really is. Like they did something very valuable there. I absolutely love that. It makes me excited. They changed the game, bro. They really did. They changed the game. The IC title actually means something important, and it's crazy. And shout out to them for doing that, because Vince was not doing it. Vince did not give a rat's ass about it. Daniel Moser dropping another super chat. Holy shit. $4.99. Oh, how I wish Triple H would give the tag team champions new belts. It is way overdue. My friend, they've had, I don't know if you've how long you've been watching this channel, but we've talked about it for a while. WWE has absolutely 1,000,000%. It's been reported so many times. Belt makers have confirmed that WWE have created new championships for Raw and SmackDown. They're supposed to be going away from the Raw and SmackDown branding. We'll see when they do it. We'll see how they go about it. We'll see when they reveal them. I thought they were going to do it for Sami and Kevin Owens. They didn't. Not sure why. But they have enough tag teams in the division where they can definitely make it happen. It is absolutely way overdue. Daniel, I don't know if you were watching with us when we were doing the Payback live stream, but that was one of my biggest complaint, actually. Just so you guys know, it was a very big complaint that I had with the tag team division. Great tag team match at Payback, but it just seems like the tag team division, until they split up the titles, it's kind of like in limbo. But I do agree the new tag title belts need to hurry up. They need to get rid of the red and the blue straps. They need to go with new designs. We know they've had them done for a while, so we'll see. And maybe that has a little bit to do. Honestly, that could have something to do with Endeavor. Maybe, I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But we do know that they've been ready for like about a year now. I want to say it might even be over a year. So if you're the WWE, you got to get those bad boys out there. You know what I mean? It's at the point where I think people are becoming impatient. And I love Judgment Day, and that's my biggest issue. I love Judgment Day so much, but what are they going to do? They're trying to make them the most dominant group. So are they going to split up are they going to reveal the new titles and then just keep them holding both until eventually they drop one? How long are they trying to have a reign for these guys? Because you got to remember, there's backstage, not actual backstage issues, but kayfabe. There's issues between Finn Balor and Damian Priest. And now all of a sudden their champions are on the same page. Obviously, they're going to have an issue where they're going to drop their titles. How long until they do that? Billy, that kid says, how long should Judgment Day be a faction? I mean, and part of that too, I think, is you should definitely keep them going for a while. Somebody will have to leave the group, but then you're adding JD McDonough. I think that's something you could keep in mind too. Daniel, thank you again for the super chat. Appreciate it. Guys, we have about another minute or two. We're coming up on midnight. We have another minute or two until we call it a day. So if you guys do have any last minute super chats, memberships, or anything like that, so you could get shouted out, definitely consider it before we get off the air. I definitely appreciate everybody, coming through tonight. And we try to do the Raw reviews and the Raw live streams a little bit shorter because it's late. We should be back tomorrow for NXT. And then some good news. If you guys aren't in the Discord, I'll put it in the chat. I'm going to be dropping a live stream schedule on this channel. So we're not there yet. We're not back to full-time streaming. But I will have a full-time schedule. Billy, that kid 22 says, will there be SmackDown reviews? Yes, there will. I'm going to drop a schedule in Discord. I'll probably make a post on it soon. There's going to be a schedule for this channel because the good news is the live streams are very fun. Going into the fall, we got a couple of weeks. Maybe it'll start. It's September 5th. It might start end of September or beginning of October. It's like we're right there. We're just finalizing some stuff, but we're going to be doing a morning show. So keep that in mind. We're going to be doing a morning show, and then we're going to be doing our review shows. And I'm actually going to have like a public schedule that you guys will see. This way you'll never miss a live stream. But with that being said, man, I appreciate everybody coming through. The Discord's in the description. I also put in the Discord in the chat. Excuse me. Lenny's talking. Yeah, Lenny's talking shit because we did a fantasy football league for the Discord server. Lenny, that's not nice, buddy. That's not nice. It is week 1. I totally forgot we got NFL. That's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun week. I'm gonna try to do a live stream tomorrow for NXT. We'll see if I can make it. But it's gonna be a fun period. Keep in mind, guys, the live stream schedule will be out soon. The Ango Show live, TAS. These are fun. I like this. I think being less structured is better. I think we all have better interactions. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I appreciate you all stopping by, being here. Did you guys enjoy WWE Raw? Did you guys not? Let me know what you guys think. Ladies and gentlemen, this is TAS. I'll see you next time.